Now then, Pike, further on page 17, he's describing the idea of the fruitful meaning of the symbolisms of Freemasonry, and he disagrees with some of the earlier interpretations presented by some of the Freemasons about what the symbolisms mean. With his broad range of knowledge, it's at least important to understand where Pike disagrees and where he interprets the symbols, not with the idea of having the final word or the final say-so, not ever. The nice thing, in my opinion, about having various different Masonic brothers interpret the symbols in various different ways, some say this, some say that, some say this, some say no, we have to pull parallels here, others say no, we have to pull parallels from here. As you acquire all of the various interpretations and themes and ideas and philosophies, you yourself get a broader comprehension of the depth of the symbols in Freemasonry. They're not just simple kindergarten children's shallow thinking. No, there's been some serious thought put into the symbolisms of Freemasonry. And I'll be honest with you, I don't agree with any one single Masonic scholar yet on the final say-so of any of the symbolisms, including Albert Pike. I also have ideas on the symbols that I will share with you as I can find the time. This is the power. Now, there are some people who would argue, they say, well, that just shows you that you Masons don't know what you're talking about. No, that does not show that. I don't believe that for a moment. Egyptologists, to use the Egyptian field, because Pike uses that quite often, well, as the Jewish Kabbalists, as far as that goes. When you see the Kabbalah interpreted from the Judaic viewpoint, and then you see the Kabbalah interpreted from the Christian viewpoint, you have blatant contradictions. Does that mean one is right and one is wrong? Interestingly enough, no. Everyone has their particular angle that they're viewing the diamond from. Some view it from on top, some view it from underneath. Some view it from the left, some view it from the right. Their descriptions is like the blind man and the elephant. Yes, it's a long, skinny robe. No, it's great, big, majestic, like a huge oak tree. Others say it's skinny and thin, feeling the ear. Are they all contradictions and not describing the same animal? No, not at all. They are describing the same animal. There are just so many different aspects of truth and symbols and the meanings of symbolism. This is what Pike is getting at. So, were someone to say, well, you're contradicting Albert Pike and he was a much greater Mason than you, that's irrelevant. It doesn't matter what great of a Mason is interpreting the symbols. No single Mason has the final say-so. Everyone, based on the learning that they have acquired, their background knowledge and information, their philosophical basis of living their life, everyone's going to have different views. The idea is we're all spiraling upward into a greater knowledge, a comprehension, and an appreciation of potential meanings that enrich our lives in some facets or other. And the more of those different various viewpoints and facets we get to enjoy our lives, I say the better, not the worse. A critic might see the negative. He might see the glass half empty and say, yeah, but it's just a mass of contradictions and it takes away for the full meaning and understanding, and therefore Masonry can't possibly be teaching the truth and the light. I don't agree with that assessment at all. Scholarship progresses, even though various scholars, whether it's on the Bible, the Quran, whether it's in science, whether it's in psychology. I mean, look at the contradictions in psychology, man. Does that mean all of that is completely invalid and a waste of time and nobody knows anything? No, it does not. It means we are exploring, we are searching for the truth, we're feeling different parts of the elephant, we're trying to broaden our horizon and view so that our interpretation can become more correct. That is precisely what that means. So to see Pike disagreeing with some earlier Freemasons is perfectly fine. It's not a crisis. Not at all. There are people who pick some of those earlier Freemasons and they reject Pike. I don't reject any of them necessarily as such. I try to integrate all of them into my own understanding and see if there's yet again a larger context that none of us has envisioned. I mean, they do this in astronomy all the time. I mean, the idea of the multiverse and the megaverse. Now the astronomers are talking about multiple universes. Well, the very word universe is one single song. Universe. There's only one universe. No, the astronomers have now contradicted that. Does that make all of astronomy worthless? Nope. Not even close. Well, I would propose the same concept with Freemasonry. You see how that works? Critics are going to say I'm just simply justifying the inanity of Freemasonry anyway. Who cares what they think? They're not engaging Pike's text like we do. They aren't enjoying the fruit and benefit of the light and knowledge that Pike has to share. It's their loss as far as I'm concerned. Do I have to convince them that Pike is correct? Not at all. We don't have to convince anybody. I'm simply exploring and enjoying. I'm loving every minute of it. I haven't wasted 1 minute of my life in Albert Pike yet. There's no such thing, I don't think. So anyway, now with that long elaboration, he says here, interestingly, that the two parallel lines representing St. John the Baptist and St. John the Evangelist, my former worshipful master, Brother David Nipper, really wonderfully explains these two parallel lines. St. John the Baptist, the rough, wild man, living in camel hair and living off the locusts of the land. He's out there in the wilderness. He's the wild aspect of man. While St. John the Evangelist is the scholar, the one who writes the most magnificent gospel. And he is the gentleman. He's the soft-spoken. He is the civilized person. So that we have the basis from civilization all the way to wild. That's a large range in which to fluctuate and incorporate our life. It's very interesting. Hang on, I gotta notice here. I gotta blank out. Well, anyway, Pike's idea of the parallel lines is extremely interesting. If the parallel lines ever belonged, this is on page 17, if the parallel lines ever belonged to the ancient symbol, they had some more recondite and more fruitful meaning. See, he's broadening the context again. He thought the context was too narrow early on. He may very well be right. They probably had the same meaning as the twin columns, Jachin and Boaz. Now, this is interesting. What an interesting thought. That meaning is not for the apprentice mason, however. The adept may find it in the Kabbalah. And he gives the hint. The justice and mercy of God are in equilibrium. Those of you who study the Kabbalah will catch this. Those of you who don't, it's okay. I'm going to expound this later on in other videos. And the result is harmony because justice and mercy is in equilibrium, because a single and perfect wisdom presides over both. I really like that. That's very interesting that on that circle, the two parallel lines, he equates with the two pillars. Now this is interesting because we enter the lodge through these two pillars of Solomon's temple, Jachin and Boaz, isn't it? And so the idea is to enter into and acquire equilibrium. I love that. This is what makes Pike so fun, in my opinion. It's fun. It's not difficult and boring. It's fascinating. He gives you new thoughts to think about. I can't help it. I love this stuff. If that makes me a nut job, I'm a nut job. That's how it is. So anyway, I'll continue on page 17 in the next video.